keep on blessing me. Say that see on your job, boy, steady testing me. And that furnace of affliction baking me like bread topped with sesame. I come through like the fine gold, you know, a righteous recipe. I grew past the thorns and thistles and shade in my vicinity. There's a juice for every 12, so most circles there spinning as if you ain't black, Hispanic, or Native American, you ain't no kin to me. I turned from the broad path that made me a public enemy. An outcast that chilled you when you got big boy energy and you roll with a goodie mob about the bottom you dungeon family. There's no growth without pain, so calamity breeds clarity. Karma is a bitch, if you rich, don't forget the charity. The kingdom of heaven within, so in life is prosperity. But life without services, happily immorality. Tragically, most live in disparity. Missing the meaning of life even, though they search desperately. All these isms, schisms plaguing their anatomy. Ironically, they self-destructing ass. What happened to me? It's sad to see. The hubris of their ignorance is likened to a Pharisee. A hard pill. Pedophilia breeds homosexuality. Statistically, most predators exist in your family. Sadly, grandma silences curses generationally. Passed down, class condition ever since slavery. Best believe you come for mine, I'm down for them felonies. Got the balls, come test, you gon' catch this vasectomy. All these J. Reeves playing God is just blasphemy. That was in too deep when they see soul and service geology. A lot of niggas and haters running after these Persephones. I'll take Katrina Tanisha over any of these Bethanies. My mama is a gem with a skin of mocha. Her name is Ruby. I stumbled along the narrow path, but gotta never lose me. When you realize you're chosen, that first step is a doozy. Sidestepping distraction and pitfalls with these exclusives. Remember when you real, it takes acts to make a movie. You reap what you sow, so enjoy that fruit in that smoothie. My Steelers are righteous fit like they're in the koozie. I sit calm, watch I love Lucy's and these vultures got all our people looking goofy. I wrote this with no hook, so every pun is a fat joke, feel me? And last one was a J, Julius Irvin on my bigot. For the cash money, most Lil Wayne's neglect the currency. To be a King Von, they'll make it out the Magnolia shorty. The truth hurts to end this, coming very shortly. The hand of the Lord is more darkly than that rapture story. Most outwardly show bravery, but inwardly are cowardly. Because to be righteous makes you stand out awkwardly. Roll tide, ends in waterfalls and rock sharply. And your vessel watch the shore because Babylon is falling. And that handout you got you complacent on dependency. You never rise above the status quo. Your people feel me. We in the valley of dry bones. Lazarus, come forth for you quicken it. Or you will tell you're weak because arms is coming swiftly. There are very few ants. Most have a slugger tendency. You bang on your brother, but dance for the enemy. They conquer in division. We multiply in solidarity. To build, you must destroy the vicious cycle of redundancy and walk a narrow path against normality for clemency. Most despise wisdom and rather live in their infancy. A man puts away childish things and show consistency. The kingdom is at hand. Red and blue pill, choose wisely. All right. Clap it up. All right, it's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. It is Monday, the history breakdown class, where we break it down line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little, in our deep dive in Genesis 40, in the whole Genesis book. We're currently in Genesis 42. Basically, Joseph then rose to the highest office in the land. He's been made number 2 under Pharaoh, and he's in charge to prepare the land for 7 years. By basically taking tithes and put them in the storehouse of like corn, and rations from all of the land, because after that 7 years is up, there will be a 7-year famine. Because Pharaoh had a dream that, he saw 7 real fat cows and 7 real skinny cows down by the water. and the 7 skinny cows that looked like Skeletor ate up the 7 plump cows, and they didn't get no bigger. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. He had for another dream that was the exact same, dealing with crops, right? So basically, you know, Joseph interpreted the dream because Joseph interpreted the dream. He was like, I done had all of these people from all over the land, from all these other gods, dealing with all these other spirits, but nobody could interpret it but you. And Joseph was like, you know, well, it wasn't I, you know, it was the Lord. You understand? So because of his wisdom he got for the Lord, Pharaoh made him over the project to prepare the land. You understand? So here we are, uh, um, at the beginning of the chapter. You know, the famine didn't hit, and it didn't hit hard. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the people come and complaining to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh like, well, what the hell you come and complaining to me for? Go talk to Joseph, and whatever he say do it. You know what I'm saying? So you know, Jacob, you know, Joseph's father, you know, in the land of Canaan where he's dwelling, which has been known as the land of the Hebrews because of the amassed wealth that they've ascertained. You know, he was like, hey boys, you know what I'm saying? It's getting hard out here. It's getting short for the livestock. It's getting short for the servants. And it's getting short for us. Go down to Egypt, you know, and barter so that we won't die, right? And that's where we are in the story. You know, and Joseph down there in Egypt doing his thing. You know, he done got a wife, and his wife then gave him 2 sons, you know, and he named one son Manasseh because the Lord made him forget the house of his father and all of the pain and anguish that he done been through. You know what I'm saying? But like I said last class, you know, you'll never rise above the status quo of your people. You know, the Lord will move you to a position to help others. Hey, Sapar, do me a favor. My key that's in the door. Hit the lock button on the alarm. I'm not sure if I locked my car. Um, but you'll never rise above the status quo of your people. The Lord will move you from situation to situation. I mean, in hell. Joseph had been through hell. He was in the lap of luxury, and from there to being kidnapped, from being kidnapped to being in prison. You know what I'm saying? For years. That boy's in there for at least 5 years, at least. You know what I'm saying? We know for sure too, you know, but he was already in there for a time already. You know what I'm saying? So uh you know, and he went through all that to raise up into the land, you know, and he feeling himself, you know, he done got draped out, you know, the Pharaoh done put gold chains around his neck, like on some Suge Knight stuff, like welcome to death row, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, he was like, the Lord had finally delivered me, he done finally remember me, you know, my affliction, forget, you know, the turmoil that I had in my father's house, you know what I'm saying? And now, here come his brothers, you know what I'm saying? And that's where we are in the story. We're gonna start at Genesis 42 and 7. When you got it, go ahead and read it. Genesis 42 and 7. We're gonna backtrack a little bit before we pick up where we left off. You got it? Go ahead, Spar.
There's the book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 7. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence? And they said, From the land of Canaan, to buy food.
Now let me ask you a question. So and we went over this like at the end of last class, and we're gonna review some scriptures, you know, moving on. Why did Joseph make himself strange to them, and why did he speak roughly to them? Make it spiritual.
Salaki, if I may, sir, he made himself strange to them So once they realized that it was him, they realized the they did, and they will feel remorse.
What I want? You right on the post, brother. Give me Malaki, give me Matthew 10 and 16. Matthew 10 and 16. So we can find out why Joseph made himself strange to his brothers and spoke roughly with them. When you got to go ahead and read.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
You understand? When you dealing with any situation, right? Like, you got to be as wise as a serpent. You understand? Like, when somebody that you ain't talked to, in some months, in some years, just randomly call you up and he all chummy on the phone. Oh, what's going down, brother, man? I ain't seen you in a while, but I mean, your phone still work. You know what I'm saying? You still come to class on the same days you come to class. You know what I'm saying? Your schedule ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? But, he's like, man, I ain't seen you in a while. Like, I ain't seen you either, brother. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? You don't deal harshly with them. I mean, even though you know the reason why that person is calling you is because that 9 times out of 10, that person wants something. You know what I'm saying? And in this case, Joseph sees what he saw in the dream is what we're about to find out. You know what I'm saying? So in every situation, you always be wise. You know what I'm saying? But make yourself harmless. You feel me? You don't, you know, what's the scripture? Well, like, how the scripture says, agree with your adversary quickly, you know what I'm saying, before they, throw you in jail, you know what I'm saying, and you be handed over to the jailer, and you will not be let out until you pay the last penny. You understand? So this is kind of that situation, you know what I'm saying? You want to be as harmless as a dove. Like Joseph, he know who they are, but they don't know who he is, right? Go to verse 8.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him.
All right. And from last class, what's the reason why he knew them and they didn't know him? See if y'all was paying attention.
So like, if I may, they didn't recognize him for when they put him in the situation that he was in. He was a young boy,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't recognize him as a grown man.
That's one way of looking at it. Malaki, give me 2 Corinthians 5 and 17. Right? So it's two changes for sure in Joseph, right? And of course, Sapar, he always coming with the wisdom. That boy scribe right there. That's what his name means, you understand? And he definitely gave the first reason, because when he left, how old was he when he left, or when he was kidnapped from his father's house? Malaki says that was a question she was concerned about. Go ahead.
He was 17.
Was he 17?
Kind of a concert.
I thought he was 19.
Lie.
Are you 17? You sure?
Kind of a concert.
You sure he wasn't 20?
Lie.
I think he was 16. You positive he was 17?
Positive, sir.
Oh, okay. I just make a show. Just testing. All right. So he was 17 when he left, and now they showing up to him now. How old is he now, Malaki?
30.
30 years old, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's 28 years, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's I mean, hell, you don't see nobody in 5 years and you roll up on them, you might not recognize them. But 17? You know what I'm saying? Not only, but it's interesting because Joseph immediately recognizes his brothers. You know what I'm saying? But they don't recognize him at all, right? So, of course, the first reason is the one that you said, the outward appearance, but Of course, his brother's outward appearance has changed over these 17 years, but he was able to recognize them, but they weren't able to recognize him. And let's find out why. Go ahead, Malaki.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature.
He is a what?
A new creature.
A new what?
A new creature.
Uh-huh.
Old things are passed away.
Mm-hmm.
All things are new.
Right? So not only was his outward appearance different, you know what I'm saying? Because, of course, he adorned in, Egyptian fine cotton and linen, you know what I'm saying? But his spirit was completely different because the spirit of the Lord was heavy on him at this point. You understand? Because the Lord had proved him through and brought him through and had his hand on him through all of these life-threatening situations for 27 years or 28 years. No, 27 years. You know what I'm saying? So when they see him, they don't recognize him. Just like when you in the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like when you I remember Malaki when he was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like Malaki in high school got a full beard. You know what I'm saying? This man got a full beard. I remember when, when he was jumping around in the back playing with Officer Yatazak, with Captain Yatazak kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he is a man in the truth. He is a man amongst boys. You understand? Even though he's the same age as his peers, but spiritually they are not the same age. You know what I'm saying? So this is the reason why his brothers were not able to recognize him, because spiritually they're not on the same level. You understand? All right. Give me one more scripture. Two more. Malakia, give me Ephesians 4:24. And then we're going to go to Revelations, and then we're going to jump back in it. Give me Ephesians 4:24. You're going to read it 27.
Sir. This is the book of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 24. And that ye put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness.
So the only way that you can become a new creature is through righteousness. Why is that? What makes you brand new by being in righteousness? What makes you different from everything and everyone else? Of course, you're going to say the law, statutes, and commandments. Yes, we know that. But what about it makes you different from everyone else? What in the law, statutes, and commandments makes you new? Go ahead.
Being born again.
Sorry?
Being born again.
You basically telling me the law, statutes, and commandments. But what specifically in the law? Just name me some things in the law, statutes, and commandments that makes you brand new. Sapar, you have something you want to say?
Your old man daily.
How? Don't say the law, statutes. We know it's the law, statutes, commandments, but I want to know what. Give me some examples of what specifically in the law, statutes, and commandments makes you a new man.
By battling your desires, by battling your flesh daily.
Give me an example.
Like, for example, if you are a brother that was a smoker, and you have that urge to
excellent example
to go buy that Newport 100 box,
with the menthol,
with the menthol, and you just say, you know what, that the Lord have His eyes on me. So as this day in these hours, I'm gonna deny myself to please the Most High.
Right. So that's one example. Another example, right? So you don't do that anymore, right? Another example is how you eat, right? You completely change your diet because of the law, statutes, commandments. So when you change your diet internally, what's going to happen externally? You're going to change. Right. You're going to look different. Your countenance will probably shine. You know, you probably won't look like the Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not, at risk of high cholesterol and high blood pressure. You're not at risk in, hypertension and diabetes and cancer, right? Another way, the way you talk, right? The way you talk is completely different. 9 times out of 10, everything that you say is in reference to the law, statutes, and commandments, or in reference to something that a prophet said, something that God said, or something that Christ said, right? Because, everything, we say 9 times out of 10, we represent back to what? To the Most High in Christ, right? Another thing, right, that would make you just look completely different, right? It's the way you dress, right? When you was in the world, you didn't dress like this. You wasn't walking around as what people say with clothes with curtains on them. You know what I'm saying? You look completely different. The way you interact with people is completely different, right? The way men interact with women and the way women interact with men are completely different when you're in the truth, right? These things make you a new creature. You are one of one. When you walk into the room, every single time, I guarantee you, they're going to be like, who the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? Whether it's on the positive spectrum, on the negative spectrum. You know what I'm saying? They could be like, oh, who is that? Or they could be like, who the hell is that? What does he have on? What did he say? You know what I'm saying? Everything that you say is in shock and awe because it's in such dichotomy and you are so diametrically opposed to the status quo. And you're just an anomaly. You're something that they've never experienced or encountered before. Go ahead, Sapar.
It's like this, sir. It's so heavy that you said that brought this out because just by let's say if you don't have or your cultural apparel on, just have with the shield on is like you just stand out.
Right. And then not only that, like you had like I had this happen to me one time. I went to the hospital to go visit my dad. This is when, COVID was still going on, right? And I'm walking through the hospital. I got my fringes on, with a black shirt, but I got my dawada is just, swinging. You know what I'm saying? As I'm walking, and like one dude, it looked like, he had been shot, you know what I'm saying? And like, he on crutches and stuff like that or whatever. And he was like, he like kind of strode, like, he trying to catch up with me and stuff like that. He was like, hey, say. I was like, what's going on, brother? You all right? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I just, I wanted to ask you a question. And I was like, what's up? What's your question? He was like, what you know about that 6-point star? I was like, nigga, what you know about that 6-point star? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, well, I'm GD. You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, I'm an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? He was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you claiming something that's of the Lord and defiling it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a priest. You know what I'm saying? He was like, and his whole demeanor changed. You know what I'm saying? Like how he interacted with me completely changed. At that point in time, he was like, he was very apologetic. He's like, man, I'm sorry. He's like, hey man, I understand, bro, but this right here, this is our culture. You know what I'm saying? It don't got nothing to do with no gang banging. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody should be rocking a 6-point star because it's our culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Malaki, give me what I asked for. Revelations. Oh, keep reading. Where you stop at?
24.
Oh, yeah, keep reading. We're gonna go to 27. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another.
See, and it's going down the things, you know, that you would do to where you would be brand new. If you're a liar, you'll stop lying. If you're a cheater, you'll stop cheating. You know what I'm saying? If you're a whoremonger, you'll stop whoring. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you're a drunkard, you'll stop being a drunk. You know, if you eating abominations, you stop eating abominations. You know, you'll be a new creature, but the only way to be a new creature is to be completely righteous. Right? Keep going.
Verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not.
Mm-hmm.
Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 27. Neither give place to the devil.
Now, that is a very, very heavy statement, right? So imagine you ain't seen your brothers in 17 years, and the last time you saw your brothers, they put you in a trick bag, you know, and like bound you up and threw you down a hole and left you there, and you got kidnapped, and this whole time you thought your brothers abandoned you, but while you looking at them, you realize that they don't even recognize you. Imagine the emotions that's going through Joseph's mind right now. Of course, he's like, man, these my brothers, man. I'm sure there's like emotion of, man, I miss them. You know what I'm saying? Then there's like emotion of anger because he felt abandoned and nobody came and looked for him, and he thinking about all the things that he done been through. But the scripture said, what did the scripture say about anger?
Be ye angry and sin not.
You understand? Because when you become emotional, you sin. You know what I'm saying? That's what Satan counts on. Every time that you didn't sin or broke the law, statutes, and commandments, 9 times out of 10 is because you've been emotional. You know why you get drunk? Because you emotional. You know why you smoke that weed? Because you emotional. You know why you can't wait to have a cigarette break? Because you emotional. You know what I'm saying? You want to know why you can't keep a relationship, brother or sister, and you keep running through women or you keep running through men, is because you emotional. You know what I'm saying? You don't have any self-control. You know what I'm saying? And you want to know why your kids act the way that they act, is because you're emotional. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have any self-control. How can you expect your children to have discipline and have self-control and you don't? It's impossible. You know what I'm saying? People say I want to be a millionaire, but you can't save $1,000. You know what I'm saying? It's hustling backwards. You know what I'm saying? Like if you win the lottery, I guarantee you in 5 years' time you'll be broke again. Cause you've never had that type of money. Oh yeah, they getting zapped. Yeah, it's working. every time you hear that snack, crackle, and pop, just say Most High in Christ, brother. Keep reading. Did you get to 27?
Kind of a concert.
All right, no sweat. Go to Revelations. What I want. Go to Revelations 21 and 4. And then we'll hop back into reading.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
He shall do what?
Wipe away all tears from their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And there shall be no more death.
No more what?
No more death.
No more what?
No more death.
Mm-hmm.
Neither sorrow nor crying.
Go ahead.
Neither shall there be any more pain.
You understand? What Joseph went through was immense pain. But Joseph not in pain no more right now. Joseph is in a position of power. You know what I'm saying? But realize the amount of pain that he went through for 17 years to get to that position. And then look at yourself where you are, you understand, and what you aspire to. First question you got to ask yourself is, what you aspire to, does it have anything to do with the Lord? Does it have anything to do with helping people? You understand? 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. It's probably for selfish gain. But even if it is, right? You know what I'm saying? Even if it is for, you know, a personal fantasy, right? You know, the Lord will grant you any righteous desire. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta build up your what I call the you gotta build up your spiritual credit score. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all, trying to go for a 4-bedroom house, 3.5 bath with a swimming pool, 3-car garage, and that's like a 750, 800 credit score. You need to get that plus a down payment. You know what I'm saying? And most of y'all walking around here with a 250, 300 credit score and don't even got a thousand in spiritual equity to put down as a down payment. But you want God to give you your own personal kingdom. It don't work like that. Joseph went through 17 years of hell before he was blessed. You understand? Or what we would consider being on. And even when he was on, it wasn't for him. You understand? It was for his people. It was for his family who he's come face to face with now. Right? All right. Let's jump back into it, Sapar. We at verse 9.
The book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 9.
Yes, sir.
And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them. And he said unto them, Ye are spies to see the nakedness of the land. Ye are come. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food. We are thy servants. Come.
Because remember in the dream, the dream that he had was that his father and that all his brothers and his mother-in-law, that they would bow before him. And here we are. It's literally what happened in verse 6 when he saw him for the first time. They came and presented themselves before him and bowed. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 11. We are all one man's son. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. Verse 12. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land, ye are come. And I said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not.
Verse 14.
Verse 14. And Joseph said unto them, This is it that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved by the life of Pharaoh. Ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither.
So what does he mean by you shall be proved?
So like he was meaning that you should be proved, that if you can prove that the youngest brother, which he is, should come in front of him.
What's another word for proved?
Another word for prove is that like you should have the evidence of the youngest.
So to get the evidence of something, you would have to do what, or put something through what to get the evidence. Starts with a T.
You have to test it.
Get that brother a hand. You know what I'm saying? You gotta test it, right? So Joseph is saying, okay, I'm gonna put what y'all saying to the test. You know what I'm saying? To see if y'all are who y'all say y'all are. But the whole time, Joseph is really having a little fun at his brother's expense. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Then we'll come. Verse 16. Send one of you and let him fetch your brother. And ye shall be kept in prison.
In where?
In prison.
In where?
In prison.
In where?
In prison. That your words may be proved. whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely ye are spies.
Hey, Sapar, go to your messenger and read the first definition that I sent you. It's the first screenshot. It's from the Black's Law Dictionary. You know, y'all gonna learn some some truth today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the one I want. The first one. That's the one I want right there, brother.
Kanamakan, hell, the name formerly given to a place under executioner chamber, where the king's debtors were confined, rich definition, I believe.
All right. So what does that sound like?
That sounds like a political prisoner.
Sounds like a prison.
Right.
Right? So hell, like by okay, so we know in the truth that hell is what?
Hell is a condition on earth.
Right. And what did you say, Malaki? Say it on the mic.
A condition.
Right. So both of y'all are absolutely right. Okay. Hell is a condition, right? But it's also a place, right? A place can cause a condition, right? Prison is hell. You know, I don't know if any of y'all never been in jail before. You know, if you haven't, I pray that you don't never have to go, because it is literal hell. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Sapar.
Sir, the Harris County jail is hell.
Yeah, 1400 Lubbock, brother. You know what I'm saying? It is hell on earth. You understand? You are deprived of your rights from the moment that you hit the door, and you know you're deprived of them. They make sure you know. You know what I'm saying? They make you strip down. You know, do cavity search. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you bend over, grab your cheeks. You know what I'm saying? And cough to make sure that you don't got no contraband. You know how the meaning that is as a man? You know, to walk in somewhere, you know, they make you strip of what you own, put it in the bag. You walk in into a room. If you got, you know, you being processed with people, you know, y'all, you know, butt to ball sack, you know what I'm saying? They make y'all turn, bend over, and cough. You understand? You know how the meaning that is as a man? They treat you like an animal. Go ahead.
And then they have a woman in there weighing 130 pounds.
Right.
Over the whole operation.
Right.
Which makes it more demeaning.
Right.
And then they have in that level inside the jail, mostly we see the cops with the black shirts. They have the white shirts, like they're pure or something.
Right.
Good night.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So when you go to jail, when you go to prison, it is considered hell. Right. So Joseph is sentencing his brothers to hell. Why? Anybody? Either one of y'all.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, Salaka, he doing that from the deeds that they did to him when he was a young a lad.
You know what I'm saying? He is simply returning the favor of what was done to him. You understand? Most people don't understand. Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask this question. I kind of basically went over it last class. Why do people go to jail, or why do people go to prison? Does anybody know? Go ahead.
For their debts.
For their what?
Their debts.
Get that brother a hand. So Paul, read the next screenshot I gave you. Definition. Read civil debt or death. Read civil death.
Civil.
You gonna read that one, and then the screenshot after that. is a continuation of it. Go ahead.
Civil death, the state of a person who, through processing natural life, has lost all his civil rights, and as to them is considered as dead.
As considered as what?
Is considered as dead.
You understand? Because they don't even have to treat you civilly, right? So in essence, you're a slave, right? When you go to jail, it's considered a civil death. You have no rights. You understand? They can do what they want to do to you. They can say what they want to say to you. You know what I'm saying? And you can't do nothing about it. You have no rights. You at that point you are not a human being. Keep reading.
Quick v. Western RY of Alabama 207.
Oh, that's talking about the case law. Drop down to where it says at common law.
A common law extension of civil rights and relations, so that the property,
the what?
The property,
the what?
The property of a person declared civilly dead passes to his heirs.
You understand? Did you know, like, if you get sentenced to prison, you know what I'm saying? They like let's just say, you know, you had a will, right? And it was meant to go to certain people and stuff like that, right? Let's just say, you know, your son is a F up, right? But you had in your will, you know, you didn't want it to go to your oldest son, you wanted everything to go to your second son, right? Or let's just say your second son ain't old enough, you know, and you and his mama not together. You understand? Until that child is old enough, the person that is the adult is the executor over their estate until they're mature enough. And that person can run your estate into the ground because you're dead. Everything that is your property, and if you don't have anybody, guess who it go to? It go to the state. You understand? Go to the next screenshot.
The civil death spoken of in the books is of two kinds, where there is a total extinction of the civil rights and relations of the party, so that he can neither take nor hold property, and his heirs succeed to his estate, take nor heirs to his state in the same manner as if they were fully dead, or the estate is forfeited to the crown.
Now, you know what that means? Does anybody know what that means?
That means if it's outside of the so-called Republic of the United States, it goes to the crown in England.
Okay, but before that, right, when it was talking about the heirs, right? So it said, read it one more time. I'm gonna see if you're gonna pick up on it.
They where there is a total extinction of civil rights and relations of a party, so that he can neither take nor hold property, and his heirs succeed to his estate in the same manner as if they were,
as if he were really dead.
It's like if he were really dead, and that means that if the original author of the will or the heir, if he was to be in that situation, the ones that he put in the will is on the same level as him.
But not exactly. So and what has he been relegated to?
He's been relegated to a
okay, but in prison, okay, yeah, you're civilly dead, but in prison you're a what?
You're a slave.
So that means your kids are what?
Slaves as well.
Boy, Like, that is insane. That lets you know the reason why Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, why we're in the condition that we're in. And no matter what generation comes, we don't rise above, because it's just like they don't have to have you physically on the plantation with chains on you anymore. You know what I'm saying? And they used to be just like breed you just like pit bulls. And whatever child you had, that was they slave. Just like whenever a dog has a litter of pups, you know what I'm saying? Are those pups the dogs? No, it's the owner of the dogs. And the owner of the dog can do with those pups as he sees fits. If he want to kill the pups and put them down, or if he want to sell the pups. You know what I'm saying? And that is the condition that we are in. When you go to prison, it don't matter if you was a millionaire, you know what I'm saying? You had 40 properties, you know what I'm saying? And you had a safety deposit box, you had, you know, $1 million tucked away in the safe deposit box, you know, and you had like a whole bunch of cars. All of that is seized. You know what I'm saying? So your children and your wife immediately become slaves. They're poor. They have nothing. They have nothing to trade and bargain with, because what happens when the government comes and busts you? They seize everything. They freeze your assets. They freeze all of your bank accounts. So you can't even pay your bills. So what does that mean your women and children have to do? They have to go and work. They have to go and fill out 1099s and W-2s and be in this system. Because you're a slave, so your children will be slaves, and your children's children will be slaves, and your children's children's children will be slaves until you pay your what, nephew? What did you say?
Your debt.
Right. You understand? Because slavery and to go into prison is because you have a what?
A debt.
A debt, right? Read the number 2 definition on there, Sapar.
Number one, the number 2 definition. Where there is an incapacity to hold property or to sue in the king's court, attended with
forfeiture
of the estate to the crown of the first kind, or the cases of monks professed and objuration of the realm.
Okay, so the second case is from a spiritual standpoint, right? So like, you become a monk, you know, you denounce the world, right? You did, like, whoever you were in the world, you denounce that. You know what I'm saying? To take a vow of silence or a vow of chastity, give up who you were, or the the fiction that was created of who you are, right? Now let's get to the last definition of what nephew was talking about, the last screenshot I sent.
Khan, the debtor, one who owes a debt. He who may be compelled to pay a claim or demand anyone liable on a claim, whether due or to become due.
You understand? So a debtor is anyone that owes a claim, right? So we gave the example in last class, right? The way that money is created in the United States is through debt, right? So I'm gonna tell you how you put yourself in slavery, right? When you take out a loan for a house, you're willingly putting yourself into slavery, right? So you're using your labor as collateral for the house, right? When you buy a car, you are using your labor as collateral to get a car, right? So they create money based off of your labor and create a trust, right? Based off of the contract that you've written. You're willingly signing yourself into slavery, right? Because when you go to work and you look at your check and you short, what's the first thing you say? Dang, bro, I gotta pay rent and I gotta pay this car note, right? Because these are your debts, right? Now, the funny thing is, what happens when you don't pay your debts? Let's start off with your car. What happens? What happens when you don't pay your car note?
They repo it.
They repo it, right? And what do you have to do to get it back?
Pay a fee.
You either have to pay the fee or you have to go to court, right? If you don't pay your rent or your lease, what happens?
They evict you.
What is the process of being evicted? You got to go to where?
Court.
Got to go to court, right? And if you're not able to pay the debt that you owe, do you know what they used to do? Somebody look up what a debtor's prison is. Somebody look it up. Look it up on your phone, Sapar. Look up a debtor's prison. Go ahead, nephew.
Wasn't that because we discussed that last class? They'll make you work for a certain wage until you're able to pay it off.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially what a debtor's prison is. Like, if you cannot pay your debts, that's why when you go to a restaurant and you're not able to pay your bill, what do they say you got to do?
Wash the dishes.
If you can't wash the dishes, what's gonna happen?
You going to jail.
You going to jail because you owe a what?
A debt.
A debt, right? And if you can't pay that debt, you're gonna have to pay a debt to a society. So let's just say your tab, so they're gonna take you to jail, right? And then they're gonna set you for an arraignment, right? And actually, you're really not supposed to go to jail until you're convicted of a crime. But they take you to a holding cell, which is called a debtor's prison, right? They hold you for arraignment before you go for a judge, right? Let's just say you go before a judge and they, why are we here? They be like, well, this young man, he went to Stake 48, and him and his girlfriend, they ran up a bill of $450 that he owes in restitution. We presented him with a check he couldn't pay. We told him, that he can, work in the back. He worked a couple of shifts in the back to work off the debt. He refused. And he's like, okay, well, since you refuse, you have a couple of options, right? So we looked it up last class. You get paid 75 cents a day in prison. And I think I'm overshooting. I think it's less than that. We're gonna say 75, right? So $450 divided by 75 cents. That's 600 hours. That's 600 hours in community service, right? You can either do community service, but if you refuse to do community service, let's see, how many hours are in a week? It's 168 hours in a week, right? Divide that by 160. That means you'll have to sit 3.5 weeks in jail. So you can either do 600 hours of community service. If you don't want to do community service, you can sit it out and you can do 3.5 weeks in jail. The judge will leave it up to you. He's like, so what do you want to do? And a lot of people, they be like, I don't want to do community service. I'll just sit it out. All right, Bella, take them away. You know what I'm saying? They'll send you the paperwork for you to sign, and you got to pay your debt to society. This is how they create money. The money that is in circulation is based off of the willingness of the slave contracts that you have put yourself in, right? Your car, that's a slave contract because it's based off of your labor. You know what I'm saying? Your home, it is a slave contract. It is based off of your labor. They have smaller slave contracts, which are called credit cards. It's based off of your labor. It's no different than when you was on the plantation and the plantation owner would send you with a list to go to Henry's whatever store to pick up some goods from him. You understand? And when you would go there, you would go and it would be based off of credit, right? That your master would have a store of credit. What is that store of credit based off of? It's based off of the labor of his slaves and what his slaves are able to produce. So that at the end of the day, when it comes to settle up the debt, based off of that labor he communicated, that he accumulated over the year and the goods that he got from it to sell off, he's able to pay off his debt to society. This whole infrastructure is based off of slavery. Nothing has changed, right? So bringing it back to where we are dealing with Joseph, right? He already said, he's like, I'm going to test you, right? And while I'm sending one brother away, the rest of y'all going to sit in jail. Because in Joseph's eyes, they owe a debt. And what is the debt that they owe Joseph?
For letting him get kidnapped.
For letting him not only kidnap, what else? What else did he go through because he got kidnapped?
He went through slavery.
He went through slavery. And what else happened after he went through slavery?
Thrown in prison.
He went to prison. You know what I'm saying? So he was in hell in prison for 7. He was. To be a slave is another form of being in prison. So he wasn't in confines of the dungeon. He was at a halfway house. You know what I'm saying? Working. You understand? He got kicked out of the halfway house and put in the dungeon. So for 17 years, he been paying restitution for a debt that wasn't his own. So when he saw his brothers, he was like, oh, yeah, y'all got restitution. You understand? A debt is a debt. I worked 17 years for y'all. You understand? Y'all going. All right? All right, let's get back to the story. We had 17. 17. Whoever you got it, Sapar? Genesis 42 and 17?
Genesis 42 and verse 17. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
And he put them all together into ward 3 days.
And we all know what ward is. That's a prison. All right, keep reading.
Verse 18. And Joseph said unto them the 3rd day, this do and live, for I fear God.
Mm-hmm.
If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses.
Now, okay, why did Joseph say this do live, for I fear God? Why did Joseph say that?
So, if I may, he said it because through all the hell that he been through, he know the Most High was with him all throughout the whole journey.
So because of that, what did he gain?
He gained wisdom.
He gained what?
Wisdom.
All right, that's what I want to hear. All right. Give me Proverbs 1 and 7, and then one of y'all give me Ephesians chapter 2 and 26. First, give me Proverbs 1 and 7. Malaki, you got Proverbs 1. Go ahead.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of what?
Of knowledge. But fools despise wisdom and instruction.
You understand? So Joseph could have let his pride and his emotions take over, and he could have just let his brother sit there and rot, but he did not. You understand? Because he feared the Lord. He was okay. Do this because I fear the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Based off of your word, do this so that you can live. Right? So Par, give me what I asked for in Ephesians 2 and 26.
It's like give me Ephesians 4 and 26, sir.
2 and 26.
Ephesians 2 and 26, sir. Chapter 2, I see.
I might have meant 4.
4 and 26, sir.
Yeah.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Verse 27. Neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor working with his hands.
Just because you're go ahead and answer it. Just because you're angry doesn't mean, you understand, that you let your emotions get the best of you. You understand? Our family members make us upset. Our friends make us upset. You understand? These are the people that can hurt you the most. And you might want to lay hands on them. You understand? But the scripture says to be angry, but sin not. This is why he said, I fear the Lord, so do this. All right? Keep reading. I think we at verse 19, 42 and 19.
Come. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 19. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses. Verse 20. But bring your youngest brother unto me. So shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die.
Malaki, give me Job 36 and 8. And Aaron, when you get opportunity, you get settled, give me Hosea 5 and 15. Keep reading.
And they did so. Verse 21. And they said one to another, we are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us.
You understand? So basically, what they saying is that I'm gonna let you go read verse 22.
Verse 22. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required.
You understand? So basically, they saying like because of what we did 17 years ago, we now being punished for it. You understand? Which lets you know that it's been on the Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? Which lets you know that it's been on their mind for 17 years. They didn't feel guilty for 17 years. They ain't forgot because I mean, and they ain't did nothing about it. Like they tried to cover up the fact, like my dad always told me to take your ass whoopings head on in life. You know what I'm saying? Whether you getting one by me or you getting one through life. You know what I'm saying? Just get your ass whooping out the way. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like waiting for butt whoopings. You know what I'm saying? Like waiting to go to court. I hate that. Come on, let's get it over with. Let's go to court right now. You know what I'm saying? Having to wait, having to hurry up and wait. Because you know you gotta you wake up, you know, you're rushing to brush your teeth, you know, you're trying to breeze through traffic to hurry up and wait. Because you don't know if they're going to call your name at the beginning of the docket or the end of the docket. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to be, first they call roll like you in class. You know what I'm saying? They call roll like you in class, you know, so you can say present absence. If you don't say present, they hand your name over to the county clerk. A warrant is immediately issued. You know what I'm saying? If you late. You understand? And then after they call roll, then you got to sit there and wait. So if it's like 75 people on the docket, you know, my last name start with a W, so I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be in there for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So this is how it goes. You understand? Like when you are being put through the furnace of affliction, you understand? The Lord will have you go. Well, he about to read. Who got Ephesians for me? Was it Ephesians?
Ephesians 4 and
No. Job 36 and 8. Who got Job 36 and 8?
All right, sir.
Right. So you got to understand, you're going to go through these afflictions life, right? But it's best to take your butt whoopings head on. You understand? Instead of telling their father what they did, you know what I'm saying? Because they bound their brother up, threw him in a hole to try and teach him a lesson, instead of saying, when we threw him in the hole and, you know, we was playing, when we came back, he was gone. You know what I'm saying? Now, what would have happened if they would have told Jacob, we threw him in the hole to teach him a lesson. When we came back, he was gone, and we don't know what happened to him. What would Jacob do? The father.
He'll punish them.
Oh, but okay, he would punish them. But what is the first thing that would have happened? If they said they don't know where their brother at,
go find him.
right? You know what I'm saying? And Joseph wouldn't have spent 17 years in hell. You know what I'm saying? Your brother spent 17 years in hell because you was afraid of an ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? Now, imagine we've been in hell for 500 years in this nation because we all afraid to take an ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? We afraid to stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. We afraid to stop smoking weed. We afraid to stop lying. We afraid to stop keeping these unholy feast days. You know what I'm saying? We're afraid to stop being drunks. We're afraid to stop being whores and whoremongers. You know what I'm saying? And because we're afraid of these things, you know what I'm saying, we have been in this continual condition ongoing for 500 years because we're afraid to deal with the consequences of our actions. We're afraid because the moment that we take responsibility, we have to say, okay, it's our fault. Nobody wants to be held responsible for the condition that our people are in. We just want to keep, oh, it ain't my fault. You know what I'm saying? So it don't change. Oh, it ain't my fault. This next generation, so it don't change. And each generation, it gets progressively worse. Just think of the condition Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were in the 1920s, right? From the 1920s to the 60s, right? From the 60s to the 80s. From the 80s to the 90s. From the 90s to the 2000s. Now we in 2024. And horror culture is at an all-time high. The Sukianas and the sexy reds got our daughters and women destroyed. Beyonce got y'all wanting to be independent women. Now, y'all cougars without a husband and children. You know what I'm saying? While Beyonce is married with a daughter and twins. You know what I'm saying? Like, they pushing this drug culture on our people, this drill culture on our people, so that we'll be utterly destroyed as a people. We did not act like this or carry ourselves like this in a mass. You want me to show you your future? Show me the state of your children. And looking at the state of our children, when they become adults, this world will be hell. You know what I'm saying? Because we will all be in prison. It's cool to do drugs, like drugs, like drugs. I'm talking about kids is out here zombied out. You know what I'm saying? In middle school, bro. Kids doing cocaine in middle school, bro. Kids doing heroin. We talking about hard drugs in middle school. I saw a picture of a girl having her gender reveal in gym period between classes. Like she was in, I think she was like in the 6th grade. And like her family was there, the boy, you know, is her husband, you know. But she was in 6th, it was a child, a 6th grade girl pregnant by an 8th grade boy. And they having a gender reveal in the gym period between classes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are utterly destroyed as a nation. And the only way that's going to change is by us taking responsibility. We can't kick the bucket down no more. Like Christ, like the Most High said that he has to send his son, because if he doesn't, there will be no one else to save. And I believe him. Because debauchery and whoredom, you understand, and pornography and debauchery, it's just a normal way of life. It's nothing. Like, bro, to see homosexuality and Rod Smith culture plastered on all entertainment is insane to me. Like, they have homoneurotic sex scenes in movies, in TV shows now. That is disgusting. And the reason why is because we're scared of an ass whooping. You scared to tell your brother to pull up his pants. You scared to tell your sister to cover up. You know what I'm saying? You scared to tell your homeboys to stop talking like that in front of your elders. You know what I'm saying? You afraid to check your brother. You afraid to check your sister. And because of that, because nobody wants to be accountable, we're destroyed as a people. And we have been for 500 years now. We are a nationless people. We are POWs. We are prisoners of war. Because we are afraid of an ass whooping. And the Lord gonna keep using these nations as a whooping stick to whoop our ass until we learn from our choices. All right, give me what I asked for.
This is the book of Job, chapter 36. And if be bound in fetters and be holden in cords of affliction, then he sheweth them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded.
Keep reading.
Verse 10. He openeth also their ear to discipline and commandeth that they return from iniquity.
See, this is what everybody is afraid of, right? Like, we didn't already, we in punishment. Like, it's insane to me, right? For let's just say, you know, the order was given to clean your room, clean your bathroom, and cut the yard before I get back. You know what I'm saying? And you don't clean the room, you don't clean the bathroom, you don't cut the yard, and the Lord puts you in punishment, and you in punishment for 2 months. And for 2 months, you gotta clean your room, clean your bathroom, and cut the yard. Because your parents is not telling you this just to tell you this. They're telling you this to put you in a position to have your own house one day. And what's insane is you're already on punishment. You done already got your butt whooped, and you continue to not do what's being asked of, and every day that it's not done, you get whooped. It's like you living in a perpetual state of getting beat. Like you've accepted, okay, we just gonna get bludgeoned today. We just take the bludgeoning. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine every day that you wake up, your day is to get punched in the face. That's what we've been doing for 500 years. Instead of learning defense, because your boxing coach is trying to show you, you know, how to hit and not get hit. You know what I'm saying? You was like, nah, I'm just going to get hit. I'm going to eventually land one. I'm just going to keep taking them. You know what I'm saying? No, bro. Because the person that you going up against is a pro. Satan, that dude is a pro. He is professional at what he does. You understand? He is a beast at what he does. You understand? And you got to realize that in Satan's job is to destroy you and prove you not worthy of your crown. And you're allowing him to do it. Keep reading.
If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures.
Verse 12.
But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword.
You know what I'm saying? So what you gonna do? You gonna keep getting bludgeoned? Because it ain't gonna stop. Either you gonna change or you gonna die. That's what God's saying. You know what I'm saying? And if they would have changed then, if they would have took their accountability then, you know what I'm saying? Joseph would have never went through the situation that he went through. But understand this also, the Lord will take anything meant for evil and turn it into good. You understand? But somebody had to pay for the sins, right? Because you know Reuben was wicked because he was sleeping with his daddy's wife. You know, the other brothers they was murderers. Two of the brothers, Simeon and Levi, they was murderers. They murdered the whole city. You know what I'm saying? Without going through the proper channels to get vindication for the sin that was done against their sister. You know what I'm saying? That's called a crime of passion, right? And then the rest of the brothers are liars because they covered up their sin of what they did to their brothers. So guess what? Since none of y'all want to take accountability for what y'all did, Joseph got to pay. So for 17 years, Joseph paid for the sins of his brothers. You understand? And guess what? He didn't fold, which is why he was in the position that he's in now to save his brothers. That's Christ. You understand? Christ died because of all of our sins. The penalty, the debt has to be paid because the wages of sin is what? It's death. Somebody got to die. So Christ was like, you know what, Father, I got it. I mean, I don't want to do it, but let not my will, but your will be done. And because of that, he's our king. Because he paid the ultimate debt. So all you got to do is make a choice, but you are BSing. You around here on bullcorn. You understand? Because you don't want to take accountability because it'll hurt too bad to change. It'll hurt too bad to not get high every day. It'll hurt too bad not to be a whore every day. It'll hurt too bad not to get drunk every day. It'll hurt too bad not to be a whoremonger every day. It'll hurt too bad not to eat, pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster every day. It'll hurt too bad not to celebrate Halloween. It'll hurt too bad not to celebrate Christmas. It'll hurt too bad not to celebrate birthdays. It'll hurt too bad not to celebrate 4th of July, Memorial Day, whatever day, but the Lord's Day. It'll hurt too bad. What you think? What? Okay, let me ask you a question. Does 120 acres of land sound good to you? It does? I'm gonna tell you something. I pulled up on 120 acres of land on my job yesterday to service a utility called the Mark Utilities for gas and electric. And I just pulled up on the property. I've worked that road before, and the dude that I thought owned the land didn't own the land. He was a groundskeeper. He was a white boy. I mean, he's a black dude, right? And I'm over there, trying to find utilities line. This clear person walks upon me. This white man walks upon me. He's like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got a service call for landscaping. You putting some trees out here and all this stuff or whatever. Locate utilities." He was like, "No, I'm good. I know where all the utilities are located. We just had to put that ticket in as a formality." And I just happened to ask him. I was like, "Look, man, you got a pretty nice piece of property here. You mind if I ask you how many acres it is?" He's like, "Oh, it's about 120. And I was like, 120? He's like, "Yeah." He's like, it keeps me busy. You understand? Like, brother, like, can you imagine, first off, mowing 120 acres? Because the entire property was well manicured. You understand? Like, he had the groundskeeper. He was on that John Deere, and he was on that thing. When I came last week, he was on the back end of the property. Now he working the front end of the property. Like, it's a job, a full-time job, just to mow the grass on 120 acres. Right? We're not even talking about keeping the house. And he had a complex. Like, brother, it was a 5-minute drive from the road to his house on the property. Understand what I'm saying? It was a 5-minute drive from the road to his house on the property. And his house was a complex. You understand? So we're not even talking about taking care of the house. We're just talking about taking care of the grounds. You understand? He had, just to show you how massive the property was, he had 4 transformers on his property. You know, like the little green box thing that be in everybody's backyard. He had 4 of those on his property. He had 4 Comcast pedestal taps on his property. You know what I'm saying? And he had his own personal gas service line that he took care of. It don't come from the city. All the city do is bring the main down the road. He got his own gas line that he monitors and takes care of. In order to be a master over great things, you have to be a good steward over the small things. So if you can't stop eating, put it like this. If you can't take care of an apartment, how you think you're going to take care of 120 acres? If you can't keep your apartment clean, you can't keep the dishes clean in your kitchen, you can't keep up with the folded clothes, how you going to keep up with 120 acres? Because at that point, you over people in your house. Like, he got groundskeepers, housekeepers. You know what I'm saying? It was something else that he told me that somebody else was a keeper of. You know what I'm saying? He got people that monitor his security. You understand? Then he got people that run his stables. He had stables out there. You understand? That was on a whole nother set of land that he owned outside of the 120. So he probably had close to 200 acres out. How can you be responsible for something great if you can't even be responsible for yourself? You can't even make the decision to put the weed down. You can't even make the decision to put the abominations down. You can't put your flesh aside to have what you desire. Because like Aaron said, 120 acres sounds amazing. I would love, and brother, it was the most beautiful. It looked like paradise on his property. He had ponds and lakes on his stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was beautiful. Probably had deer somewhere out there in the back in the forest area on his land. Like, brother, he had a type of land. If somebody came on that land and came up missing, you probably wouldn't find the body. That's what you call private property. Like, brother, it's going to take the cops 5 minutes from the gate. I'm sorry, 5 minutes from the road because the gate was tucked off back from the road. It's going to take the cops 5 minutes from the road to get to the house. And I'm going to see him coming from a mile away. And then he was ducked off on some random country farm road with a dead end and it's one way coming in. So I'm going to see you coming from a mile away. But to get to that, you got to be able to take care of you. Before you can have a wife to watch over, you got to be able to take care of you. Before you can have a wife and kids, you got to be able to take care of you. Before you can have a car, you got to take care of a bike. Before you can have a house, you got to be able to take care of your room in your mama house. You can't take care of your room in your mama house and clean up the little small stuff that you got. How you going to take care of an apartment? You can't take care of an apartment. How you going to be able to take care of a house? For all of y'all that say that y'all want to be, real estate moguls and own property, if you can't maintain one piece of property, how you gonna be a landlord? You're not gonna be a landlord. You're gonna be a slumlord. That's what's gonna happen because their property gonna look like your property because you don't take care of your stuff. So what they gonna do? They're not gonna take care of your stuff. All they're gonna do is, hey, the guard disposal broke. Hey, the handle on the microwave broke. Hey, the AC broke. Hey, it's a leak in the roof. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the power went out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just gonna call you. They're just gonna blow your phone up. And if you're not handling those small things in your house, Why would the Lord trust you with a bigger house or with multiple houses? And what Christ say, in my house, in my Father's house, or what? Many mansions. Christ want to give you a mansion, but you got to be able to take care of the temple first. You understand? Give me the other one I asked for. Give me Hosea 5 and 15.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 5, verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
You understand? If you going through it, first and foremost, 9 times out of 10, all of us know why we going through what we going through. Like, even in the truth, right? In the truth, it's test or judgment, right? A judgment is a punishment, and it's meant to hurt, right? But a test is to prove you and to refine you for what the ultimate goal is, for perfection, so you can get what you're supposed to have. But guess what? If you don't pass the test, what's gonna happen? Anybody know? What happened if you don't? What happened if you don't pass your final exam in whatever grade school you in grade school? What happened? What happens? You gonna do what? They gonna hold you back, and what's gonna happen? You gonna go through the same curriculum, and you gonna get the same test, and you gonna keep getting the same test until what? Until you pass it. So if it's happening in grade school, what makes you think it's not gonna happen in life? What makes you think it's not gonna happen on a spiritual level? Right? If you can't get past not getting drunk, why would I give you, $1 million? You're just gonna drink yourself to death. You know what I'm saying? Like, for a lot of you, poverty saves your life. Because if you were not poor, you would kill yourself. You all would be a whole bunch of weirdos getting into some weird stuff and finding weird ways to kill yourself. Because there's no buffer. Whatever you desire, you're going to max out on it. So if you love cocaine, you're going to max out on cocaine. If you love weed, you're going to max out on weed and get lung cancer and die. If you love cigarettes, you're going to max out on Newport 100 menthols, die of lung cancer. If you love pork, brother, you're going to max out on pork, boy. You know what I'm saying? If you love being a whore and a whoremonger, you're going to max out on being a whore and a whoremonger. You probably going to have your own Pornhub, your own XX videos. You know what I'm saying? You're going to max out on it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, you're going to max out on it, and you're going to kill yourself. Poverty is a buffer for a lot of you. Because if you were not poor, your life would not be long at all. That's why you look at all of these entertainers, these rappers, singers, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see it every day. A rapper dies every year. I mean, it's to the point to where, like, oh, he died? Oh, dang. What we eating for dinner? You know what I'm saying? It's normal. Because you get all of this money and you haven't fixed your temple yet. So whatever is in your temple is going to be personified and maximized. That's why the Lord doesn't give you what you ask for, because it's not that he doesn't feel that you deserve it, because Christ said he has many mansions for you. But he knows if he gives you this, you'll kill yourself. So you need to be on Section 8. You need to be on WIC. You need to work 18, 20-hour shifts. Because if you didn't have something to occupy your time and you had all the money and everything that you desire, you would kill yourself. It's that simple. All right. See what's this 807. All right. Well, we stopped at 22. Yeah, we started 20. Let's go to 42 and 23. James say Shalom says it seems like an extreme assumption. It's not an extreme assumption. It's not. You know what I'm saying? That's why. Why do you? And I'm gonna say this. Why do you think Alcoholics Anonymous? Why do you think they give you the chip? And Alcoholics Anonymous. Does anybody know what the chip that they get? So for however long that you are sober, they give you a chip. So you got a 6-month chip, get a year chip, get a 2-year chip, 5-year chip, 10-year chip, right? That chip is to remind you, you understand, that you can do it, right? This is our chip that we can do it, right? This was written so that you can live a life and live it more abundantly. When you don't follow this, what happens? Not only do you get what is the wage of sin? Death. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like it literally says it. Like he said seems like an extreme assumption, right? Okay, let's use one of the examples that I gave. So he says an extreme assumption, right? Okay, this is something that is easily accessible right now. Cigarettes, right? We all know somebody that smokes at least a pack to 2 packs a week, right? We all know somebody like that, right? What does it say on the side of the cigarettes? On the side of the cigarette card, what does it say? Anybody tell me? Grab the mic. Say it, Aaron. What does it say? Aaron, tell me, what does it say on the side of the cigarette card? What does it say?
It causes lung cancer.
Does it say it might?
No, it will.
It will, right? So it says, if you smoke this, you will die, right? So this is a minor case. A carton of cigarettes. I didn't smoke cigarettes. Can anybody tell me how much some cigarettes cost? How much they cost when you smoke? How much Newport 100s cost?
Newports, they was like probably like $6-7.
They $6-7.
So I know they went up.
You know what I'm saying? What you got?
Yeah, sure. I seen this week. Sure, them jokers are $11.12.
But inflation. You know what I'm saying? Right? Okay. So if you love smoking cigarettes, right, and you got all the money in the world, you know what I'm saying? You don't got nobody to check you. You know what I'm saying? You be like, man, instead of just buying a pack, I'm going to buy the carton. You know what I'm saying? So I can just have them on deck. And I can smoke when I want to smoke. Right? I'm going to smoke all the cigarettes I want, because you already do it now in poverty. Right? And what is the end result of the people in poverty that smoke cigarettes? What happens? They die. From what? Lung cancer. You know what I'm saying? When you got money and you want to do coke, you gonna do a coke mountain. You gonna be like Jon Snow in Blow. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And you gonna OD. It's not a matter of if, it's when, because you have no inhibition, you have no buffer to stop you. You know what I'm saying? People chain smoke cigarettes because they're addicted to cigarettes. People are alcoholics because they're addicted to alcohol. You know what stops people from smoking cigarettes? Poverty. You know what stops people from drinking? Poverty. Because they don't have any more money to buy beers. You understand? That saves their life. Because if you had all the, you would just drink yourself to death, or to the point to where, well, it's still death. You would have cirrhosis of the liver and you would still die. It's not extreme, Ak. It's going to happen. Go ahead, Sapar.
Salakia, if I may, sir, I would, the point that you bring out so heavy, like how poverty is a buffer. I remember on the Chappelle show where they say that the black folks got the reparations.
Salaki, this person is. He said. You said that you would kill that people would kill themselves if they didn't work 20. That's not what I said. I did not say that. I said if you had all the money in the world, you would kill yourself. That was my statement. I said if you had $1 million, you know what I'm saying? If you were a millionaire and you didn't fix your temple, the inward man, whatever was on the inside that you didn't fix is what will kill you. That's what I said. And I said for a lot of y'all, poverty is a deterrent to save your life. Because a lot of y'all, and I was one of them before I came into the truth, right? If I had $1 million, I would have been the biggest drug dealer on the face of the planet, selling all the weed and smoking all the weed. I would have either died in the trap, you know what I'm saying? Or I'd have died from lung cancer. I thought I was, being smoking diet weed by wrapping up in papers instead of blunts. You know what I'm saying? But it's still the same end result. You know what I'm saying? When you sin, the wages of sin is death. It's not a matter of if, it's when. You know what I'm saying? If you lie, you'll cheat. If you cheat, you'll steal. If you steal, you kill. You know what I'm saying? It all goes hand in hand. And the ultimate goal is for you to die. Go ahead, Sapar. I cut you off.
So like I said, like I said, no, the point that you bringing out is, so heavy. It's like how poverty is a buffer. I remember watching back in the day the Chappelle show when they gave all the black folks reparations, and then the news lady was on there. She said, "Sir, since you got the reparations, are you still gonna drive this truck, this cigarette truck?" And he was like, "Nah, this truck is true. I went and brought the truck cash, and I got enough cigarettes to last the rest of my life."
You talking about Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, he's like, "I'm rich, yeah."
And they over there gambling they reparations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They over there shooting dice with their reparations checks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is how foolish we are. Like, we all talk about how we want reparations. We want this. Brother, if Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans got reparations for all the atrocities that was done to them, I guarantee you within 10 to 15 years, and that's a high number. I think it'll be lower. Wealth will be back in the same hands. Because you didn't fix this. You still have a poor man's mindset. You understand? As a man thinketh, so he is. So if you hood and you get rich, what are you? Hood rich. Because you still gonna do hood stuff. You know what I'm saying? You gonna go buy a whole bunch of jewelry. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go buy a car. You're going to go put a system in it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go get a nicer apartment. You're going to be staying in the loft now. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to own nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have a poor man's mentality with money. And what's going to happen is all the money that you're going to have is going to go back into the hand of the wealthy because you didn't fix this. You have to fix this to change this. As a man thinketh, so he is. That is in the Bible. You understand? You have to change your mind the way you think. The scripture says you will be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You understand? And until as a people we change this, we will continue to utterly be destroyed. All right? Come on, let's keep reading.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 25. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way, and thus did he unto them. Verse 26, and they laded their asses with corn, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass proventer in the end, he espied his money, for behold, was in the sack mouth. And he said unto his brethren, my money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, what is this that God have done unto us?
Why were they afraid? Because their money was in their satchels of corn.
Salakia, if I may, they were thinking of what Joseph said to them earlier about them being spies, and they were like, "Yo, this is the perfect thing that's gonna happen." So they're gonna believe that we are spies when we are not, when we're just coming to get food for the famine.
But why would he think that?
From the scare that Joseph put into them earlier when they was bowing before him.
Right. So okay. So what was the money for?
The money was for them to do what they needed to do,
which was what?
To basically to survive, to buy corn.
There you go. There you go. So the money was to buy corn, right? And he gave all of them their weight based off of their purses that they had for the corn. And then when they opened up their satchel, the purses to buy the corn was in the satchels of corn. So essentially, not only is Joseph already holding one of their brothers hostage in prison for them to come back, you understand, to bring the younger brother to prove that they weren't spies, but now they're technically thieves. But they didn't know that Joseph commanded his servants to put it back in the satchel. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now we already got to explain the fact that we came back without another brother again. This is the second time they're going to come back home and they don't have one of their brothers. But this time they got to explain it to their father, because their father ain't going to want to hear it this time. You ain't going to be like, say, just some random stuff happened and this is his cloak with some blood on it. They be like, hey, fool me once. You know what I'm saying? Fool me twice. You know what I'm saying? So, like, at this point, they like, the Lord is really dealing with us, right? Because even though in the back of their mind all of this time they've been dealing with the guilt of what happened to their brother, because they didn't know what happened to their brother, right? Now they all know we're reaping what we sowed, right? Because for everything that you do, there is a debt, but they don't understand that Joseph has really already paid the debt for all of them. You know what I'm saying? For all of their sins. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Joseph is Joshua, just like Joshua is Christ. In every generation, the Lord raises up somebody to sacrifice to make us whole. And it's always a generation that don't want to follow what the Lord says. You understand? In Adam's time, it was Adam. Adam was raised out of the dust of his family. You understand? In Noah's time, Noah was raised out of the dust of his family. You know what I'm saying? And of Noah's sons, it was Shem. You know what I'm saying? Of Shem's line, it was Abraham. all the way down to Isaac, all the way down to Jacob, and of Jacob's sons, it was Joseph, because Joseph was the only one that followed orders. He followed his father's orders to the T. You understand? All the rest of them just kind of did what they wanted. Remember, it's always a chosen one. Always. Many are called. All of us are called, but few are chosen to actually serve. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 30. The man who is Lord of the land, roughly to us.
29. Well, you know what? We'll stop right here and we'll finish out the rest of the chapter next week. This is a good stopping point. You go ahead. What you say?
You want me to finish 29?
No, because 29 picks up when they get to their father's house, right? So, hold on. Somebody asked a question online. What did he say? Do you support reparations for people with a black mother but a non-Israelite father? Brother, I don't support reparations, right? At all. You understand? Can anybody guess why I don't support reparations? Go ahead.
Going back to what you said earlier, we would kill ourselves.
You said what?
We would kill ourselves.
That's one. Yeah. Go ahead, sis. That's not why, but I don't believe they'll give it to us either. What were you gonna say, Sapar? Why do you think I don't believe in reparations?
Salakia, sir, because you have faith in the Most High, and the earth was made for our sake.
You close, brother. Go ahead.
Because if you don't work for it, you're not gonna value what you get.
That's a good answer. That wasn't where I was gonna go, but that's an excellent answer, right? The reason why I don't believe in reparations is because you could never pay the debt that's owed to my people. There is no monetary value that you could pay me for 500 years. There's no monetary value for that. There's no monetary value that you could pay me for Emmett Till, for a Sandra Bland, for a Tamir Rice, for a Philando Castile, for an Alton Sterling. There's no monetary value that you can pay me for Seneca Village, which is Central Park, for Rosewood, for Black Wall Street, for it. Every man-made lake on the East Coast and down south is built on top of a black town. There's no monetary value that you can give me for that. There's no monetary value that you can give me for every slave that was buck broken. There's no monetary value that you can give me for every slave that was tarred and feathered. There's no amount of money that you can pay me for the mass genocide that you did for Thanksgivings, plural. There's no amount of money that you can pay me for the lynchings. There's nothing that you can give that will amount to being enough. The Lord got us in Christ. That's the only reparation. Seeing you reap what you sow. Seeing Babylon fall. Seeing this nation that was built on the back of my ancestors. That is the only reparation. And then after that, maybe we can talk about being square. But until that happens, there's no monetary amount that you can pay. Like, if they were to even attempt to have a conversation, they would have to give up the nation. They would have to give up the Americas. And they're, like Sis said, they're not doing that. And even yet and still, it's too much blood in the ground. And as we learned reading the book of Genesis, when innocent blood is spilled, there has to be an atonement, or there will be chaos in the land. And guess what? It's chaos in the land because it's unatoned blood in the ground. The earth is crying out for our slain ancestors, those known and unknown. And those tears and those cries are sitting under the mercy seat of the Most High God. Our prayers fill up the sanctuary of the temple of the Lord like incense smoke. And you can't even see the Most High because of the prayers of our ancestors, the prayers of our people now. So no, brother, there is no amount of reparations. I don't believe in reparations. You can't pay me off for what you did. You got to pay. There's a debt. And as we learn today, it's time for you to go to hell. It is time for you to go to hell, to debtor's prison, for you to pay your debt to the society of Israel, of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So no, I don't believe in reparations at all. So I hope that answers your question. Are there any other questions in the room? All right, nope. All right, so with that, we will say imadium, which means to stand. Sar, which means to turn. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer first in Hebrew, then in English. Repeat after me. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemkah, Yahweh, Malakwatha, Daba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazab, Kowah, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathan Lacham, Call, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawat Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawat Yanawa, Wala'ah, Dabi Ayanawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Lakab, Hamalakwa, Waha'allah, Wahata Parak, La'awalamyam, Aman. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So be it. Sar, turn your face to front. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers, then to the sisters. Men of Israel, Body Shabbat, Maju, Ra, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Brakatah, Yadamata, Sar, turn your face to sister. Men of Israel, Body Shabbat, Maju, Ra, Yahweh Shema Tha Shem Yahweh Shah, Yadamata, dismiss. Oh, that's right, sis. I see what the sisters was saying. Oh, yeah, that's right. Ain't no amount of money. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Goddamn right. All right, shalom, Israel.